Hello, I'm so glad you could join me. My name is Pixie. I make videos about the art I make and the books I read. This video concludes the series of all the art supplies I got in the Pen Store Art Advent Calendar. To give a short review, overall I think it was a pretty good calendar. Sometimes there were several things behind one window, so that's good value for money. And including the fun surprise you got every day, I just feel that I got my money's worth. The last theme was acrylic, but I decided to use supplies from the whole calendar for this drawing because the acrylic theme was honestly a bit disappointing for me. The paper looks to be the exact same as the watercolor paper, which wasn't very good at holding water, and in addition to a white paint marker, I also got a tube of white paint, which isn't very well planned when they gave us white paper. Now, I assume that what happened is that they had sets of each kind of supply and then just put the individual pens or paints into calendars randomly, so I was probably just unlucky to get 2 white supplies, but I wish that they would have checked for that. I do like the paint markers though. The double tips are really cool and are going to be great for lettering. Speaking of lettering, that is what I'm doing today because I've just had so much fun drawing words. This time I chose a Taylor Swift lyric from the song This Is Me Trying off the Folklore album. That song really hit me hard when it came out. So, in the Long Pond studio sessions where Taylor talks to her producer Jack Antonoff about the song, Taylor talks about addiction and mental illness and how when you deal with something like that, it's a struggle every day. But, and I quote directly, no one pats them on the back every day, but every day they are actively fighting something, end quote. And Jack talks about how you can know that you're doing your damn best, but it's not good enough. And when they're talking about the first verse, where the lyrics talk about standing at a cliff's edge and not jumping off it, Jack says, quote, I love that idea, not driving off the cliff as an act of trying. It's almost the ultimate act of trying, end quote. And that, to me, is huge. Like, yes, surviving is hard, but you don't get credit for how hard it can be to just live. And that's something I have kind of felt a lot, not that I want credit as such, but just to be seen in your struggle and being witnessed in how much effort you're putting in to just do pretty basic things. Just like having someone recognize and witness that you are trying your best. The song is, according to Taylor, about mental illness, but for me, I also relate it to how my autism disables me, which, I mean, to be fair, has, of course, affected my mental health. And often I really feel heavily with the song's chorus, which goes, I just wanted you to know this is me trying. I'm not going to sing it, I'm sorry. Because I think it can be hard for people to grasp how much I struggle with things. And I don't blame them for that, because if I'm having a bad day, you don't see me. Or you don't hear me. I'm the only person who's seen me on a bad day is my mom, maybe my ex while we were together. People see me on my better days when I have the energy to talk and talk excitedly, when I can be out and about, and I seem pretty fine. They don't see me when my speaking energy has been exhausted and I can only form words with massive effort, if at all, or when I can't shower even though I really want to. So people kind of have to take my word for it, and I think every person with an invisible disability or chronic illness can attest to the fact that it's hard to have people believe you when they have to just take your word for something. I've also had medical professionals not understand why I'm struggling, because according to them I am quote-unquote intelligent and good at verbal communication. And I think this must be that they just haven't actually thought it through very much, because unfortunately there's many more additional skills that are needed in order to manage daily life or keep a full-time job. Like, I might be decent at forming a sentence, but I will have a meltdown if there are too many unexpected changes at once. If I have to experience too much stimuli too many days in a row, my brain will straight up shut down and refuse to process anything anymore. And that makes my verbal abilities pretty useless. But there's also another side to this, which is now that I know that I have a disability, I don't feel as much like a failure anymore. Because it turned out that the things I thought were my personal shortcomings are actually very common autistic experiences. That being said, it still does frustrate me to be limited and miss out on things, but in that context, at least I'm trying is more like an uplifting affirmation. It's like I may not be doing everything I would like to be doing, but I am doing what I can. I'm not giving up because it's hard. At least I'm trying. And that has to count for something. It's also just something I tell myself when I fail at something or it didn't go as planned. At least I tried it, you know? Which is a mindset I've really worked to get. Historically, I've been very much, it's perfect or it's nothing, and avoiding trying in case I failed, and terrified to make mistakes kind of person. But I try to see it like this now. The only person who makes no mistakes is the person who does nothing at all. I do still find making mistakes really scary, because mistakes can have big ramifications depending on what they are, like lost friendships, lost work. So trying despite that fear really is a win in my book. There's also another aspect of trying that I wanted to touch on, namely to be seen trying. I think a lot of us find it embarrassing to be seen trying. I think people can feel like they're being cringe if they are trying to do something and they don't know if it's going to be successful. Like if you post openly on Instagram and ask a question and no one responds, that could be seen as cringe, and that's scary to people. And I get that too. I'm like, what if I try this and I completely fail and everyone will know that I tried and failed? It is scary, but I just think it's a lot more scary to never try at all in case you fail, because you definitely fail if you never even try, you know? So I'm trying to force myself to feel safe being seen trying, regardless of how the results end up. So yeah, if you are trying really hard and struggling to just get by, I see you. I witness your efforts, and I am right there with you. This also feels like a fitting sentiment to share at the start of the new year. I personally didn't have a good year in 2023, but we made it through it. I am determined to have a better time in 2024. I will have more energy, make more art, see more friends, and have less pain. I have decided this, and I wish much the same for you and whatever else would make your life more meaningful and fulfilled. That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and let me know what your thoughts are on trying, and at least trying. An extra big thank you to my patrons who support my artistic freedom and let me try things. You are the best. And thank you for hanging out with me. Until I see you next time, take good care of yourself and others. Bye!